Hello everybody. You caught me doing some of my videos here, doing some editing and things like that, working on my Patreon page. One thing that I guess I'll mention on the YouTube channel, and my Patreon members already know all this, is that I've made all my Patreon videos, which a lot of them are early access. You see a lot of them on the YouTube channel, but the Patreon member sees them sometimes a week or 2 weeks before you do. And sometimes on the Patreon, they're unedited. It's life as it is. And then when I come to YouTube, a lot of times I'll edit them a little bit. Like music. Whenever I download a video for YouTube that has popular music on it, like I'm recording, let's say, a band at one of the squares, then I get copyrighted on YouTube, and then try to sub in some kind of a crappy free, copyright free music that really, mostly sucks, or just don't show it. And so I've chosen that I just don't show a lot of them. But on my Patreon page, I don't have to monetize it. So I decided about 2 weeks ago that level 2 and higher, I only have 4 levels, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 2, 3, and 4 is commercial free. Level 1 doesn't get that. Question and answer. I just thought, I don't do these every Wednesday anymore. I just kind of got bored with it. And I think you, as viewers, are getting bored with it. But here's a question. It says, newbie to the villages. I know I'm going to screw this name up. Janey. Janey? I don't know. Chavez? Says, hi Skip, I've recently discovered the villages in the last couple of weeks and have really enjoyed your YouTube videos. They're very informative and make you feel like a neighbor. I guess my question is, Villages being the largest retirement community in the world, and you say you just now discovered the Villages in the last couple of weeks? Are you just now recently thinking about retirement? Is that what it is? Because this is a retirement community. I mean, I'm just saying that because if you're not retired, you're young, you're active, you're going to be bored here. You just will, because it's, surprise, it's full of old people. My question is, where do you start? I've been trying to sort through the videos and the Village's website, but it's overwhelming. How do you narrow down your search on which village to even settle in? Like I've said before, and if you saw the video that uploaded sometime this week, Monday I think, I did a cart ride. I said, take that word, village, substitute that word with the name neighborhood. It's the same thing. What neighborhood do you want to live in? That's the question. Not what village, really. What neighborhood do you want to live in? I'm planning to make plans for a lifestyle visit sometime after this COVID stuff settles down, but even with an on-site visit, it seems a daunting task to see it all, or even have. Hope you all have a fun and a safe 4th. We are. It's safe. That's a good question. It really is. I might pick on you a little bit, but don't take offense to it. That's just the way I am. I pick on everybody. But they pick on me and I take it. If you ever watched the Wednesday Night Live show, you've seen it. It doesn't make any difference what village you move into. They're all basically the same. Basically. I'll try to help narrow it down a little bit for you to make it a little easier. It won't be easy, but it'll help you a little bit to narrow your search. First question, ask yourself, do you want to buy a brand new home or do you want to buy a pre-owned home? I mean, you're going to look at both, I'm sure, but try to make up your mind on that. If you want a brand new home, that narrows it down a lot. You have to go down to the Finney area where they're building. Right now they're building in Chitty Chatty, I think DeLuna, so there's some brand new homes, whatever's down there. That's where you got to go. You can't go anywhere else. You can't go to Spanish Springs and buy a brand new home. You might be able to go to the historical side, because I heard that the developer was buying a bunch of them old trailers up there when they become available, the property anyway. He was moving the trailers out and they were building brand new homes up there and selling them. That might be an interest for you. I don't know. It's something to check into. There are some brand new villas up in the Mulberry area, up there off 42. I done video on those. But if you're interested in a home, so to speak, a designer home, premier home, whatever, you have to go to the Finney area. That's where the new homes are at. Now, if you're interested in possibly a pre-owned home, let me say this. Most pre-owned homes, most, not all, a lot of circumstances are there. I'm sure you understand. Some of them might be need some work. Some of them may have got stuck in a bank problem when the owner passed away. Bank problem. What is that bank problem? Here's one of the problems I know they've been having. They may have got it worked out now. I don't know, because I haven't read any reports lately. But they used to have a report like weekly in the older sections. Somebody passed away, and there was a reverse mortgage. You've heard a lot about that, a reverse mortgage on the house. Now the bank somewhere in America, whoever that bank may be, basically owns that house when the owner passes away. They have a bad problem with doing what needs to be done, making sure the yards are mowed, making sure the house has been washed once a year or whatever, making sure all the things, the air conditioner's running. You can't shut them off here because of mold problems. All this kind of stuff. And they don't care. So the house itself could sit there for 6 months, totally empty, nothing going on. There could be mold problems in the house. You buy one of those houses and you might get a deal, but you're going to spend a lot of money to get the house back in ship shape. That being said, most pre-owned homes will cost you more to buy that pre-owned home than it will to buy that exact same home if it's still being built brand new. I know you're thinking, well, that can't be right. Well, it is, because of the upgrades. Pre-owned homes has had a lot of things already done to them. Carpets ripped out, tile floors put in, plantation shutters put in, landscaping out front, you know, all the stuff that you can imagine, lanais being enclosed, all these things are done, and it drives the price of the house up. A brand new home, generally speaking, doesn't have all them upgrades. Some of them do. They don't have all the upgrades, but they have a lot. It's money you're going to spend down the road. You just have to decide, do I want to spend it all now, or would I rather buy a brand new home, budget my money, and add to things as time goes on? Sue and I bought this house. Back in the day when I bought this house, it was $221, I think, brand new, 3-bedroom designer home. It's a vinyl sided home. I don't have a stucco built home. You don't really need a stucco built home here. The R value on the walls and everything is about the same. It's just a matter of however you feel. I mean, whatever makes you sleep well at night. They're all built to hurricane standards. I've mentioned that. If you saw my W&L show with Ira Miller, he's a real estate expert that's been here for many, many, many years. He even said on that show, they're all built to hurricane standards, so it doesn't really make any difference which one you get. It's just a matter of choice. And money, because this house built in a stucco version is $30,000 more than what I paid. So I paid $221 for this place back when Hillsboro was brand new and they were still building in here. There was dirt out in the road here in front of my house. And it doesn't take them long to, well, anyway. All the upgrades we've done, and I can tell you 100% of all the carpet's been ripped out, and we had some kind of a laminate wood. It's a wood type flooring, but it's in a laminate form, and there's some kind of a soundproofing on the bottom, and then they also put in, anyway, I'm making a long story, ain't I? Well, all that's been put in place. Then we had all the, I'll call it linoleum. A lot of people down here call it vinyl flooring, which I was happy with. Looked fine to me. And it was that spongy type laminate, so, you know, it felt pretty good. Sue didn't like it, so she had all that ripped out, and we had tile installed. That's expensive. Driveway design's been put in. I've got my garage floor epoxied. I got my lanai floor design put in. My back sidewalk area where the grill's at has got the same design on it. Landscaping's been put in, a couple of palm trees, the stackable block, hedge in the back, a privacy hedge put in. I've had the curbing put in around everywhere in the back and on the sides. The stackable blocks in front. We're talking, that's probably, you know, somewhere in the neighborhood of $30,000 worth of upgrades, somewhere in that area. Oh, I also had solar lights put in, the roof that goes into the living room and in the kitchen. Those are, see, I had mine put in by the solar guys. I think it was $600 for the first one, and every one after that is 50% off. So I had two put in, that's all I wanted, so it was $900, $1,000 to have those put in. And then, of course, the closet I had redesigned. I did it myself, but I had to buy the material to do it. You know, there's nothing here in any home you buy that you can't spend a lot of money upgrading it. Now, you go to buy this home that I'm in. This home right now in Hillsboro is worth somewhere between $290,000 and $300,000. That's what it's worth with what we've done here. I know that because I've had an analysis done, and so that's what it's worth. I'm not going to sell it. Now, my next door neighbor sold his house, different model, and I advertised the house on my channel, and he sold that house. I don't want to say how much or anything because it's none of my business, but I'll tell you, the house was sold in, I'll say 24 hours on my videos. He didn't have a realtor. He asked me if I'd do a video of his house and put it on my channel. And I said, yeah, I'll do it. Within 24 hours, he got a phone call. The guy flew down. They did the paperwork. I think he had to come down once again to do the final paperwork, the closing and all that. They did all that, and that was it. Sold the house in 24 hours. That's the one thing you have to get used to here. You see something you like, get ready to put that deposit down on it now, because tomorrow may be too late. I mean, it's not always going to be that way, but it is right now. You heard, if you watched the WNL show with Ira Miller, he even said it. It's hot. The real estate market here is hot, super hot. People buying houses off the internet, not even looking at them in person. They're putting deposits down on lots right and left every day. That's just the way it is. And the idea of negotiating a price, that doesn't work here like it does maybe elsewhere, like in Indiana, where I'm from. Don't insult anybody with a pre-owned home by, if they're asking $300 for it, you go in there and say, I'll give you $275. I can almost guarantee you that offer is going to be totally rejected. Unless there's something really peculiar going on there, that offer is not going to be accepted at all. But here's how I would handle an offer. If there's something in the house that you would like to stay, if they can, don't look for family heirlooms. That's not fair. But if you go in the house and let's say the garage, you see a nice looking little golf cart in there, you might put that in as an offer. I'll give you full price for the house if you'll leave the golf cart. That's a maybe, because you don't know where this person is going. They may be moving out of the villages, they may be moving back up north, don't know. So he's liable to say, sure, I'll do that, because he doesn't want to worry about selling the golf cart and moving it or anything else, so you might let it go. Then again, that person may be buying a new home in the villages and he may want to keep that golf cart. So you're kind of playing the odds on that, but it's worth a shot. Okay, I'll get off of that subject. The other thing to help narrow your search down for a home, what is it that you want to do? Try to get that narrowed down. Do you want to go to the swimming pool every day? Are you one of them kind of people? Then you know you want to be around the neighborhood pool probably. And do you want to do the sports pools? Sports pools where you can do the lap swimming. You're not supposed to do any lap swimming at the neighborhood pools. You can go to the sports pool to do the water volleyball and all the different water sports that they do there. Then you know you want to be fairly close to a regional rec center. That's where all the sports pools are at. And also other things there too, like platform tennis. I don't even know what that is. There's other things there to do. That's what you really want to investigate. Figure it out as what you want to do. Wait a minute. By the way, beer of the day is coffee. Yeah, I mean, that's what we did. We had basically a little criteria, because I was used to my other house that I had and what I was convenient to. And I also knew some things that I was convenient to that I decided I did not want to be located near those things anymore. One was the house we had before. We were like within, I'll say, a 10-minute golf cart ride to downtown Lake Sumter. We liked that. I liked that. Also, it was close enough that Sue could do her morning walks. She walks a lot. And she would get up early in the morning and she'd walk all the way down to Lake Sumter. And she'd go to Starbucks, get a cup of coffee, and then go back there behind, I can't think of the name of the ice cream place there, but there's the radio station there. There's a deck out back with some Adirondack chairs. She'd go back there and she would do her emails, drink her coffee, and looking out over Lake Sumter, and then she'd walk back to our house every day. So we liked that. Thing I didn't like that I thought I would like, I was really close to Coconut Cove Recreation Center. A lot of pickleball courts are there. Of course, that's where the family pools are at, the pool tables and all that, and that's fine. But when I was down on vacation, this is why it wasn't a deal breaker for me, because I was still working at the time. But every day I'd sit out in the lanai with the windows open, because we had an enclosed lanai there also, and letting the breeze come through, and I'd watch people walking their dogs down the road and drinking my coffee, and I'm reading the morning paper. And I could hear this noise all day long. If you don't know what pickleball noise is, it's like a big ping pong paddle, a small tennis court, and they use a wiffle ball. When I was a kid, we called them wiffle balls. And when you hit that wiffle ball, it makes a loud knock. Back and forth. Knock, 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 knock. And if you've got 8 or 9 courts of people doing this, you can just imagine the noise you're hearing all day long. And in the wintertime, it's even worse. And I just told Sue, I said, well, being on vacation, it's not a big deal. We go in the house, I didn't hear it. It's just not a big deal. I said, but if I end up buying a bigger house when I retire, which I always thought I would, I knew that was one thing I didn't want to listen to. Now that's me. Now, I know people that are pickleball nuts. They love the game. And the closer they are to a pickleball court, the better they'd like it. They'd like their lanai to have a view of a pickleball court, so they can sit in their lanai and watch people play. That's them. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Find out what it is you want to do. Do you want to do golf a lot? Because if you do, that narrows your search down. You want to be around the free golf, the executive courses, or are you one of them people that want to be around country clubs and do nothing but what they call championship golf here? And you can do that. That narrows your search down to you want to be in these areas where all these things are at. If you want to do swimming pool exercise, volleyball, pool volleyball, you want to be around a regional rec center. There's not a whole lot of them everywhere. So that narrows your search down to be kind of within a reasonable golf cart ride, I'd say, to a regional rec center. If you want to be fairly close to shopping, that narrows it down even more. Shopping is not all throughout the villages. We have shopping. You got the big shopping area up on 441, and you can be fairly close to those shopping areas in the villages and take a golf cart to all the shopping. You can be over here at 301 and 466 Southern Trace Shopping Plaza. You can be there and be within golf cart ride of Walmart and all that kind of stuff there. But that would narrow your search down to those areas around that. If you have to be next to a square, let's say you're one of them people that want to go to the square every night and go dancing, or 2 or 3 nights a week. You love to dance. Got to go to the square every night. This is what I want to do. That narrows your search down. We have 3 squares right now. So that'll narrow your search down to this area of each square. And once you get all that area down pat to where you think you want to be, now you got to decide, do I have to have a 2-bedroom house? Do I have to have a 3-bedroom house? Do I need a 4-bedroom house? You got to know. It's going to be a difference. Are you going to be full-time? Big difference. If you're going to be part-time, then you don't need a 5-bedroom house. Unless you got a lot of money and you're just trying to hide it so you don't have to pay taxes on it. If you are going to be part-time, can you get by with a 2-bedroom house? Can you get by with a 3-bedroom ranch? Can you get by at 1,200 square feet? Do you have to have 1,600? These are the things you got to decide. Nobody can decide them for you. But to decide which village to go to, here's a good plan to think about. The further north you go, in other words, I'm in Brownwood. If you've got the maps, then if you look at the map, you see where Spanish Springs is. That's north of here. And then south, you come to Lake Sumter. Come further more south, you come to Brownwood. Go even further more south, that's the Finney area. They don't have a square yet. It'll be announced sooner or later, I suppose, but so far nobody knows. The further north you go from Brownwood, the older the average age is. The further south you go from, say, Spanish Springs south, the average age gets younger. You get down to Finney, that's probably the youngest area of the villages for the most part. So I guess you got to figure out, where are you comfortable? I don't know how old you are, I don't care. I'm 68 and I'm in Hillsboro. And most people around me, I would say, are probably between the ages of, for the most part, full-time residents I'm talking about. I'll say on the very young side, and I can only think of one off the top of my head, really. I'm going to say 55, 57-ish, that area. And like I said, I can only think of one that's in that age group. But on the average, I'll say people here, I'm going to say are 62 to 70-ish, give or take, somewhere in that area. You get down to Finney, probably the average age down there, I'll say, is between 55 to 60, roughly. You get up around Spanish Springs area, the average age could be probably between 75 to 85-ish. You have to play games with that because the historic area up there is, in my opinion, is there's parts of the historic area that's I just don't think's good. It's too many kids has inherited Grandpa's house, and they're not here for retirement. They're just here because the house was free, and it's just a problem. Read the news. You'll read news about people up there all the time. All the time. It used to be a wonderful area to live in. I just, in my honest soul, and I don't want to put anybody down about it, you know, I'm not, but things has changed over the years, and I can tell you that I wouldn't consider buying anything there. But it's just all about what can you afford. I mean, if you want to buy a $150,000 house, that's probably about the only place you're going to get one, is in there. You know, but you're still in the villages, and just know that that they do seem to have their problems up there, and who knows if they get any better or not. I don't know. But anyway, that's how you narrow your search down. Type of house, How old are you? What is it you really want to do? That's the number one criteria. Figure it out what you really want to do. And once you figure that out, that will narrow your search down a lot to where you want to buy, no matter what town square area you're in. Because the further north you go, they don't have as many recreational centers as they do, say, south of 466. There are more recreation centers down here. When I say the village's map, let me see if I can find one here. I got them. Where are they at? Oh, here they are. After the last Wednesday night live show, thanks to Barry, thank you, Barry, he donated $100 in a super chat on the show and said just mail out all the maps to whoever. And so that's what I did. I had, I think, 6 or 7 maps, and I went down through my email and I just took the first 6 or 7 people that said, I'd like to have a map, and thanks to Barry, we mailed them all out. And so I had to restock. But here they are. This is the village's north. This will be from Wildwood north to Spanish Springs, and it includes the historical area, Highway 42, where the newer courtyard villas, I call them at, in that area, all the way up there. And then what comes with it is this brown map. And the brown map, representing Brownwood, as you can see, it says, you know, what it says. But it goes from Brownwood all the way down to the new area down around Finney. And it shows you the roads and where all the rec centers are at. And now they're still opening rec centers down there, and I don't know if all the new built rec centers, I don't tear the map out, I don't open them up, because it's too hard to get them back together. But I'm sure that when those maps came out, there was a lot on them. But it does show golf cart trails, all the main roads in and out. And you might be interested in getting one of those villages maps because it just shows you a lot. So if you want to buy a house, say, close to a couple of country clubs are on there. And then you can see, mark them where they're at, and then tell your realtor, whoever it may be, you'd like to see houses for sale in that area. I recommend 2 realtors, I always have. That'd be up to you to choose which one. One, you're going to have a village realtor, because they do not work with anybody that has an MLL listing. They don't work with any outside realtor. So any house that they have listed, whether it be new or pre-owned, you have to go through a village realtor. Any pre-owned home through an outside realtor, you have to go through some outside realtor, because the village's real estate company will not do business with an outside realtor. Don't ask me why. I don't own these companies. I'm just telling you how it is. So I say get 2 of them. And that way the outside realtor can take you to see all the homes listed through some other real estate company, and the village's realtor can take you to all the homes listed with their real estate company. And then you can get a good look-see of what's going on. Because a lot of times you'll go to an area that you're really interested in, and I've heard this a lot. They found homes for sale, but they was with a village realtor. The villages didn't have anything in that area, and then so they said, well, what about that one over there? Can I go see that one? And they are shockingly told, you have to call an outside realtor. We're not allowed to do that. And then the questions start, well, why not? Well, that's just the way it is, people. That's the way they run their business. The villages is not part of the MLS listing. They dropped out of that years ago. It's always been this way for many years. So just play the game. That's, if you want to see it all, that's what you got to do. So anyway, that being said, I hope that helps you out. Helps a lot of people out as far as narrowing down their search. If there's anything else I can do to help you out, don't hesitate to send me an email, ask a question. And until then, I'll see you all on the other side. See you on the next Wednesday night live show.